Hi everyone, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your love snapshot for the next 30 days. This set of snapshots will be for the fire signs, and I will be addressing them in the order of Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius, and this would be relevant for your Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus signs with each of those. Don't forget to watch the general readings that I put out for each individual sign every 2 weeks on my channel as well. And if something in particular resonates with you and you'd like to maybe take a deeper look and reach out for a personal reading with me for yourself or as a gift for someone else, just click on the title or description of this video. You'll see my contact information, my email address there. I would love to hear from you. Just email me and I can respond the same day with more information. I do offer a pretty wide variety of readings in all areas of life, of all different types and lengths and budgets. There's something in there for everyone. And I do readings full time, so scheduling of personal readings is done in a fairly timely fashion as well. So if you're interested, email me. Okay, let's move right into Leo first. Leo, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Love snapshot for the next 30 days. A quick look at love and romance, singles and couples. I am using the Radiant Rider-Waite deck, and I will be pulling 3 cards. We have the Ace of Pentacles, the Hierophant, and the Two of Cups. I'm laughing because the Two of Cups is our soulmate, best friend, kindred spirit energy. This represents a meeting of the mind, heart, soul. It's more than just the obvious physical, chemical attraction. It's kind of seeing things in a lot of the same way, kind of feeling the same connection with each other. And typically it happens either right away or very shortly after meeting this person. You feel you have this sort of karmic divine connection with them. Sometimes this can also represent best friends that sometimes start to transition into something more romantic. Now we have the Ace of Pentacles here, the Ace of Earth. Earth is the element that governs the suit of Pentacles, so it's a bit more of a practical energy. So aces represent the number 1, of course, so they represent the start of something new or an opportunity to begin down a new path. It might be a new practical path for some of you. Now, for some of you who are single and looking, this could represent taking a more practical approach to it or a more conventional approach to it. This is also a card that represents practical new beginnings, like new jobs or moving and relocating. So for those of you who are single and looking for romance, it might be that you find it in a new job or a new role or a new position. It might be that you find it in a new project, or those of you who are moving or relocating, you might be finding a kindred spirit or a soulmate in that sense. It also might be a more conventional approach, because we also have the Hierophant, which does represent convention and tradition, the tried and true way. It can represent institutional energies like churches or, organized religions, government institutions, universities, hospitals, that sort of thing. So for those of you who are single and looking, it might be that you are taking a more practical or more conventional approach to it. Maybe these days a lot of initially meeting people is done online, and a variety of different websites that are geared towards people looking for all different kinds of relationships. It might be some of you may decide to seek the help of professional matchmakers. It could be just going to singles organizations. I mean, this is a tried and true path, maybe taking a more conventional approach to meeting people. Some of you, again, may be meeting somebody at a new physical location in some way. Now, for those of you who are coupled, you might be moving or relocating. One or both of you might be starting new jobs. Some of you for whom have had relationships that maybe have had some issues or have been on rocky ground, or maybe there's been some separation. This could represent taking a more conventional approach to dealing with issues, because the Hierophant can also represent an individual that with a lot of experience, professional or otherwise, somebody who's kind of wise and gives good advice. So some of you, this might be a more practical approach to dealing with relationship issues, like a therapist, a counselor, priest, pastor, something of that sort. For advice for couples, it's pretty much what I just said. If you're having issues, whether they are, within the relationship itself, maybe how you communicate, maybe how you deal with finances, again, taking a more conventional or practical approach to it. For example, again, if there are emotional issues within the relationship, seeking out the help of a professional that might help you. And that might not necessarily be marital counseling or couples counseling, but perhaps if you have a tendency perhaps to fight about or to disagree or have difficulties around financial or material issues, it may be that you need to, restructure your budget, maybe seek the guidance of somebody who's, like a professional budget setter or, any kind of financial advisor, things like that. And as advice for those of you who are single, again, especially with the Two of Cups, it does represent that you would most likely find this person, your kind of karmic soulmate, one of your karmic soulmates, because we do have more than one often in this life, in a more conventional approach. Organized singles meetups, organized groups, conventional, traditional atmospheres, or conventional and traditional means. And nowadays, you can apply that to dating as well. Some of you, this could be getting married. You may be making plans to get married. You may have recently gotten married. You may be getting married or making plans to do that. For those of you who are coupled, you may be, making plans for that, or, considering moving, maybe moving in together, moving into your first home, that sort of thing. Pretty happy reading, actually. For those of you, especially because we have the Two of Cups, for those of you who are single, it says that this person is on the horizon. And for those of you who are coupled, it says that you do have a karmic connection with this person. Okay, let's move on to Aries. Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Aries, love snapshot for the next 30 days. We have the Ace of Wands, another ace. This is the Ace of Fire, an exciting new beginning. Fire is the element which governs the suit of wands, and so that's very action-oriented and forward-moving energy. It contains a lot of passion, desire, excitement, enthusiasm, creativity, inspiration. So there is an opportunity to start down on a new path. Some of you, especially singles, you might be meeting somebody new that you feel an instant attraction to. Those of you who are coupled, it might be a renewal of passion and desire within the relationship, or something exciting that the two of you are venturing out on. Next, we have the Five of Pentacles, which is a card of insufficiency and lack. Now, it might be financial or material insufficiency and lack, not having enough money, being stressed out because of money, somebody being out of work. It may be that finances and material issues might be affecting your love life if you're coupled. If you're single, it might be that you feel that might be keeping you, from finding the right person or even from looking for the right person. On an emotional level, whether you're single or coupled, this can also represent, feeling basically like you're on the outside, because the energy of the Five of Pentacles is kind of like you're in beggar mode, right? You feel like you have to chase for everything that you need and everything that you want. It's not enough. Feeling perhaps not good enough, shut out, abandoned, rejected. But we have a new beginning here. The next card is the Page of Cups. So this is also kind of a fresh new beginning sort of energy, because pages are they're messengers. They also are the students, the apprentices of the tarot. Pages can't or don't really go out and begin to physically manifest anything yet until they mature into the Knights, where they take all the information they learned as pages and begin to go out and do stuff with it. So it can represent being at the start of an introductory phase of something. Now, in love and romance, this is very flirtatious energy. It's little lighthearted messages, flirtation. It might be an offer even of some kind. As you can see, actually, in the Radiant Rider-Waite, it looks like he's offering a bouquet of, flowers or some kind of greenery. A fish. Is that a fish? I'd have to put my glasses on. Interesting. Cups is governed by the element of water, which governs our heart space, our emotional landscape. So the Page of Cups is a little loving message, a little flirtatious message. What I'm getting here, Aries, is that whether you're singled or coupled, it looks like you have been going through some kind of difficult time. It may be, again, for some of you, finances and material issues are affecting your love and romance life, whether you're coupled or whether you're single. It may be that as a couple you feel you've gotten bogged down with all the financial and material stressors that so many of us are going through right now, and that might be, it might be making you or have been making you feel like your life together has just kind of shrunk down to this day-to-day drudge of dealing with the issues that need to be dealt with. And it may be that you have felt like the spark, the desire, the creativity, all of that has gone out of the relationship. But again, that's the middle card, and it's flanked by two quite positive cards. So there's hope for a new beginning here. There's an exciting new beginning here. For those of you who are coupled, this could be, okay, well, let's work with what we have, right? Necessity being the mother of invention. This is about working with what you have here. It's about saying that, even though we're feeling like this, we're feeling all this crunch of the financial material issues, let's work with what we have. Let's be creative. Let's find ways that we can have little dates or little things for free or that don't cost very much, looking at different ways to kind of interact with each other, or go out and do something different from your normal day-to-day activities or normal day-to-day grind to bring that kind of spark back in, right? Make your own bouquets of flowers, pack a lunch and go somewhere, just anything, putting more creativity into it. It doesn't have to be the thing that stops you from having those nice little fun or spicy reconnections with each other. If you're feeling in your relationship like your partner isn't giving you the kind of attention or caring that you want, or you feel held back from doing that for your partner because there's lots of things you'd like to do and maybe you can't afford to do them, or and it makes you feel kind of small. Again, this is about being creative and doing little things. I mean, even a little gesture can mean so much in, the day-to-day minutia of our life. And you can be creative with how to do that. Now, those of you who are single and looking, it may be that you feel that finances and material issues are keeping you from getting out there and asking people out on dates or going out on dates. Particularly if you're kind of the conventional, the man pays for it or whatever, it can represent that as well. It may be that you just feel like financially and materially you don't have a lot to offer, but we offer what we can. And when we feel like we don't have a lot to offer, what we're able to offer is actually everything. It's actually a big thing. And it's just about finding a person that would actually appreciate that, right? It might be... It might be for those of you who are single and looking too, that you need to maybe step back and have a different perspective on how to look or where you look, or broadening the net, so to speak. Because, again, Wands is governed by the element of fire, which is your energy. And fire is also, the suit of Wands is also about creativity and inspiration. So this could be finding... Again, whether you're single or coupled, it fundamentally applies to both of you. This is about finding creative new ways to do things, taking a look at what you have and finding creative new ways to do things, kind of taking a step back and going, what's a different way I can approach this? How's a different way I can look at this? Whether you're coupled, finding interesting, new, fun, weird, crazy things to do together that are cheap or free or don't cost too much, looking around and see what's available in your community. Single and looking, again, it could be finding new and creative ways to look for people or expanding your options for where you look or how you look. Exactly. For those of you that have been in relationships, and maybe you feel like your partner, this would, I think, apply more to couples in this sense. It may be that one of you has done something and the other one is upset with you about it. This is being creative about kind of, I'm sorry, here's a weird, crazy, silly little thing that would be personal to that person, right? And for those of you who are single and looking too, it might be that you feel shy about approaching a person or shy about, talking to someone or opening up. Maybe you feel, like this Five of Pentacles, like, oh, maybe I'm not good enough, or I'm not this enough, or I'm not that enough, or I'm not enough. This is about just kind of taking the initiative or at least being responsive, a little flirtatious. Okay, let's move on to Sagittarius. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Love Snapshot, next 30 days. Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Okay, we have the Four of Swords, taking a temporary step back to rest, recuperate, recover yourself. Sometimes this card shows up when a person's feeling a bit tired, worn out, exhausted, especially mentally, because Swords is governed by the element of air, which governs our intellectual landscape, everything that goes on in our heads, how we think, our belief systems, ideologies, our perspectives, our perceptions, how we look at things, because that defines what we believe, what we see our reality to be, and how we interact with that. So the Four of Swords can represent taking a step back. Now it's interesting because in the tarot, when you look at the cards in chronological order, like when you get a new deck, you look at the cards in chronological order. It's a story, right, in each suit. So the card before this would be the Three of Swords, of course, which in this deck usually shows a heart that's being impaled by three swords. It can represent heartache, heartbreak, breakup, separation, some kind of emotional pain or disappointment. So here in the Four of Swords that comes after that, the person is kind of taking a step back to recover, recuperate. Some of you may have gone through a breakup, or there may have been some issue within. For couples, there may have been a breakup, there may have been a fight, there may have been some disagreement whether or not you actually separated or broke up before it. It may be that for those of you who are single and looking, you just feel tired. You just feel like, oh, okay, I keep doing this, I keep doing that, and nothing ends up ever working out. Because again, this is a temporary step back. And I say temporary because, number one, it's a pip card, a minor card. It's a 4. We still have more of the suit to go through. And this person, their thoughts or the issues, which is represented by the swords, they're still hanging up here, and their own sword is close by, but for the time being, they're not engaging, right? They've taken off some of their armor, but the rest of it is still on, which is implying they're going to go back out there and deal with it. So taking a step back here. We have the Five of Cups next, and Strength. So the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups is a card of grief, loss, sorrow, regret, which makes sense given the Four of Swords. And if you look at kind of that Three of Swords that would go before that, some kind of disappointment or sadness or regret, could be apologies as well. The cautionary advice I always feel with the Five of Cups is don't spend too much time dwelling on the negative aspects or the painful, challenging aspects. We honor them, and we can also learn from them by looking at them and saying, okay, what was my part to play in this? What was my responsibility in this? Kind of taking a look at that, which is what strength means too. Strength is facing our fears, our doubts, our insecurities. And you may hear this phrase sometimes, wrestling with our shadow self. Well, what does that mean? Wrestling with our shadow self means basically taking a good, hard totally honest look at ourselves in the mirror. You know, the parts of ourselves that we don't really like to look at, that we don't like other people to look at, that it's hard for us sometimes to kind of admit that we could improve in this way, that we're not doing this particular thing wrong, or simply that we made a mistake, or we did something wrong, or we did something bad, right? And kind of having the courage, strength, wisdom, and true humility to look at that. And we use that so we learn and we do better moving forward. And all of that takes a tremendous amount of strength, but that's also what you gain more of by going through that process. Facing these things, right? Facing the things that we don't want to face. Learning from them and applying those lessons moving on. Because if we admit something, but we don't change moving forward, and they haven't really learned, right? That's all in this strength card here. The other thing about the Five of Cups is that what he's looking at, grief, loss, regret, sorrow, apologies, is 3 cups tipped over and spilled out. But this isn't the 3 of Cups, it's the 5 of Cups. There's still 2 cups behind him or her, upright, full, beautiful, which represents, for those of you who are coupled, that all is not lost. There is still much there to be grateful for, to be appreciative for, and they also represent opportunities for things to get better. Especially if apologies are needed, more communication is needed. And for those of you who are single and looking, it represents kind of taking a look at what's your approach, how are you presenting yourself, how are you even looking, taking a look at what doesn't work, what does work, and moving on. It looks like a period basically of examination, of kind of taking a step back from, those of you who are single and looking, taking a step back from your previous process of looking for relationships. What kind of person am I looking for? Do I need to be less rigid with my expectations? Do I need to have more boundaries around my expectations? Do I need to expand? Do I need to look in different ways, in different places? Am I being drawn to the wrong person? Where would the kind of person that I want to be partnered with, where's the best opportunity for me to meet that person? How do I need to present myself, It's kind of this is about taking a step back to examine, to take a look at what works, what doesn't work, what we've done right, what we haven't done right, what we've done wrong, and making changes and learning from that moving forward, whether we're coupled or whether we're single and looking. For either group of Sagittarians, it's about taking a step back to kind of re-examine in a practical and compassionate way with ourselves, and if it involves somebody else, with somebody else as well. And if we've been doing something wrong or something that just isn't working, to admit that to ourselves, take the value of the lesson we learned from that and apply that moving forward, and in relationships as well. Okay, what isn't working? Taking a look at that. What can I learn from this? What can I learn from this moving forward to make the relationship better? Or, it can also be taking a look at what doesn't work, maybe making the decision that you need to move on your own path. But again, kind of a more quiet, reflective. But we need these periods of time in our life, because without them, we wouldn't learn and grow and improve moving forward. Okay. So that's it for the fire signs, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. I hope you enjoyed this short little love snapshot for the next 30 days. Again, don't forget to watch the generals that I post for each individual sign every 2 weeks on my YouTube channel. And again, those of you who are interested in a personal reading of any kind with me, please feel free to email me at maggie1maguire@gmail.com. You can also click on the title or description of this video to get that contact info as well. I would be delighted to hear from you and to work with you, or as a gift for someone else. I will see you all again, probably in the next couple of weeks for the next set of general readings. The love snapshots I don't do regularly. I do them from time to time, but I hope you do enjoy them. And I look forward to seeing you sometime soon. Bye-bye.